All right, welcome back to the Geek Branch podcast. We're just going to talk about how Netflix has recently partnered with Tonko House on a Oni CGI series. I did it terribly. I wish I could re-record this, but we're not going to do it.
No, we're doing it live.
Yeah. Apparently, the studio is working on a stop motion CGI animated series for
stop motion.
Netflix.
Yeah. Why you leave that bit out?
You didn't say that earlier.
Well, now you know it's CGI and stop motion.
That might be pretty good then.
It is being the showrunner is actually Daisuke Tsutsumi, which is the nephew-in-law to Miyazaki. You know, the famous god of anime from Studio Ghibli, and so they are working on this. They previously worked on apparently some sort of Oscar-nominated short film called The Dam Keeper. They actually were working on a feature film of Fox Animation until Disney bought Fox, and so now they have to work on their own thing. Just to show y'all a little screenshot of what they've shown so far, real quick. Come on. There you go. Reconnect.
I mean, speaking of...
Y'all can't see it, but we can see it.
Oh, man, that looked great.
Yeah, actually.
Looks really cool. So the
reminds me of Leica.
Show has a little short plot description. It says, in a world filled with oddball gods and monsters of Japanese mythology, one of the creature's free-spirited daughters, Inari, is determined to follow in the footsteps of the mighty heroes of lore. But her unique powers are yet to be revealed. Does she have what it takes to protect her peaceful village from the encroaching presence of the mysterious Oni, who threatens the gods? We'll find out on this new series called Oni.
No, this episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
It sounded like the DBZ announcement. I guess he was just inspired.
He was feeling it.
I was feeling it.
Spirit took over.
Yeah. Couldn't help it. So they're producing the series with Japanese stop motion company Dwarf Studios, who actually did a series recently on Netflix. I cannot pronounce it. I'm not going to pretend like I can announce it. So I'm just going to show a clip. Not a clip, but a picture that all y'all will know what I'm talking about when you see it, I'm sure. I cannot pronounce it.
Pronounce it, Tom.
I can't.
This is the only way you get better.
Y'all recognize this?
Mm.
It's on Netflix.
I don't know it, actually.
What's it start with, Tim? Like, what's the first two
You just
letters?
got to say it, Tim.
I can't say it. It's like real Kuma and Karu.
No, Kuma's bear. So.
Yeah. Yep. So
you did good, Tim.
Yeah, you did fine. You
Yeah.
did fine.
Thanks. I tried. Anyway, so those are the two companies working with Netflix to make a new CGI series. And it actually looks like a competent CGI series, unlike most Netflix series.
Well, first off, it's stop animation. So
with CGI.
Well, immediately, infinitely better
Better.
than just raw CGI.
Yeah.
So
it actually has effort involved.
Yeah. I mean, dude, stop animation takes ridiculous amounts of effort.
So long. I mean, that's why Robot Chicken is only on a certain season.
Yeah.
And it's been going on since we were teenagers.
Yep.
And we're a bit older than we look.
Look, there's only two ways to really
anyways.
do stop animation efficiently, and that's either with a horde of human beings or slowly.
Yeah.
Like you need a metric horde of people. Because it's literally move the figure, frame, picture, move the figure, frame, picture, move the figure, frame, picture. Do that
and then
all across every
as
aspect
long as
of
nothing
it.
gets screwed up.
Yeah.
If one thing gets messed up in that whole process, you have to start back from square one.
Yep.
It is God's work, also known as the most difficult form of animation known to man.
Yeah.
I mean, even hand drawn isn't as hard as that.
It'd be interesting them going back and doing this in stop motion and it's doing the mythology And then the Oni that you see, you can tell it's kind of gotten that goofy, Americanized kind of presence in it.
Not quite Americanized, but it's definitely that.
It has 3 fingers, man. That's not Americanized.
It's more of
No,
a,
I mean that like his goofy face looks like something that would be on like an movie in America.
I'm not feeling it, Tim. That seems
You
pretty
say
Japanese.
Such hurtful things, Tim.
No,
I was gonna say that
it's-
feels distinctly Japanese,
it's-
honestly.
Yeah, that's not giving me an American vibe. I'm sorry. I mean, what would you be comparing it to? Oh, I see what you're trying to say. No, I disagree with you, but I'm kind of getting the feel for it. You mean like that new animation, The Abominable Yeti or something
Yeah.
like that really derpy
Yeah,
kind of American animation thing
Abominable.
that they do.
Yeah, from DreamWorks. It reminds me of DreamWorks.
Yeah, I see what you're going with there, but no.
It reminds me of DreamWorks.
I understand. I do, but no.
But DreamWorks was the people that really made CGI a big thing in America.
Yeah. No, I understand what you mean,
Yeah.
but I don't see it.
Okay.
I figured it out somewhere along the way because the way its expression is, that kind of
Yeah.
lackadaisical look. Yeah, but no.
See, I'm Dane's translator and Dane's my translator. So we work hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to say,
with the Naruto thing you did.
yeah.
You can translate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the first one to be like, Tim, what?
And then I have to say, like, at least one hurtful thing an episode for Devontae. So, we're just going in line with how things usually
Killed
go.
me today, just throwing daggers in my chest.
Yeah, he has been on a roll today.
Yeah, this is why if you don't see him next week, you know why.
Yeah,
Tim is so hurtful.
he's just bleeding out in the corner over there.
Just kidding. He wasn't going to be able to make it next week anyways. Now people are going to think,
We
man, they
did
must
something
hate
to
each
you.
other. Yeah.
But no.
Controversial, Tim.
I know. I'm
Why are
trying
you
to
so
I'm trying to
problematic
stir the
tonight?
pot. I'm trying to let people sip
Oh
some
my
tea.
God.
Ugh.
You know?
And I
We-
asked you
we-
if you're okay when you almost fell.
We take a week off, and man, he just loses all cool.
I know. I'm
all,
sorry.
all chill. But
This is what happens when y'all give me a week break. I'm refreshed. I'm ready.
but no. So we're coming in here, and I'm like, okay. So what I originally thought was that this was going to be a pure 3D CGI creation.
Like the past, like the Godzilla movies. and
Yes,
all
like
that, yeah.
everything
Godzilla
Netflix
movies or their weird other the Ultraman CGI movie TV show they did.
Ultraman's
It looks like
Ultraman's kid,
Yeah.
which I was not
Well,
sold
Ultraman's
on
in it
that.
too.
Yes,
The
he
original
is,
Ultraman's in
but
it.
it doesn't matter.
He's
It's
old
not-
man.
Yeah, I was like, look, hold on one second. I didn't come here for a Succession movie. I came here for Ultraman. Why am I looking at Ultraman's kid?
Well, it only made sense.
now they're rebooting that with Marvel.
Yeah, they're I almost added that in. Marvel's making a Ultraman comic.
They're working with the creator.
Yeah.
Ultraman
Well,
#1.
that sounds really cool,
But it's
except that it's
Marvel.
Marvel.
So I can't get
Yeah,
behind it.
Marvel and doing things with Japan usually.
Look, Marvel
doesn't
and
turn
doing
out well.
Marvel doing anything. Let's hold up for a second here. Let's not-
Stan Lee did good with what was that? Ultimo, the manga Ultimo.
Whoa, we're talking
Yeah.
about Stan Lee. Stan Lee, Jack
It's
Kirby,
his own thing.
Jim Lee. Those guys did good work. Let's not talk about what's
I
happening
actually
today.
really liked the Marvel Mangaverse when
Oh,
they
yeah.
did that in the early 2000s.
It's still going on.
No. There was like it like had the Fantastic Four family and stuff like that. back in those days.
No, I'm talking about the Marvel mangas.
They
that are
actually
currently
called
being
it
done. Yeah,
Marvel Mangaverse. They
Yeah.
actually called it that.
there's still Marvel mangas coming out.
Oh yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, I missed the Marvel anime.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
anyway,
Anyways,
Marvel nowadays everything it touches dies, including Star Wars comics.
You mean Disney? That's Disney.
yeah.
Sorry, it's Marvel.
Oh yes, it's Marvel Comics.
Marvel's stamped on the Star
Okay,
Wars
fair
comics.
Enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't read Disney's Dark Vader. It reads Marvel presents Dark Vader. I have angst. Anyway,
Angst and sass.
yes, look, they're killing me. I just want good work, and I can't get it. Marvel disappoints me infinitely. But
What about DC? Their comics have been pretty good the past 5 years.
yes and no, because
The-
they've done some trash. Don't
Yeah. I mean, not all of it's good, but they've
Right.
had like the Harley Quinn comic books are trash.
I don't like to see. Okay, I-
I've read it, so I can say that.
I don't like Marvel's work. I don't like DC's direction.
Okay.
And that means that yes, the 2-bit comics industries I currently don't like, even though they have produced some of my favorite works of all time. My favorite comic book characters are Iron Man and Batman.
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
currently Iron Man is a giant dumpster fire and Batman is currently recovering, but everything that was leading up to the wedding and then after the wedding was
Right.
was a shotgun to the chest.
Back to Japan.
But yes, so regardless, the thing about that animation style is that it's terribly, terribly. Ugh, that is my Chinese phone. Give me just a second.
Is it? But it's not singing Chinese.
That is Chinese.
Oh, it is Chinese.
Yeah, that is a Chinese song. What's so funny? What? Why would you think? Oh, you thought it was Japanese?
No, I didn't think it was Japanese.
Surely it isn't Korean. I mean,
I'm more used to hearing Cantonese, not Mandarin. There is a difference between the two.
yeah, I mean,
This
but not
awkward
too many.
moment is brought to you by the Geek Branch podcast.
Yes, but look, regardless.
Yeah, because I only have one advertisement and it's with Anchor via audio.
Right. So look. Hold up. My point being is that animation style is, controversially speaking, or not really too controversially, highly lazy, because it's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
Right. Every time you do something hand drawn or claymation, you have to do exact control and procedure. You have to produce it. You have to then do every frame and scene by storyboard, inch by inch, step by step. It's a lot of effort. 3D animation in that formation where it's the CGI is you create the character.
Unless you purposely put a lot of detail into it.
Right. But you create the character, you save it, and then you can freely pose and move that character around in your software.
Why don't they make the characters look that much better if it's that easy? Like, why does some of them look
'Cause
like
they're-
hot garbage?
No, let me explain it to you really quickly. They are lazy.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the perfect example of it, because it's no different than the technology that was used to produce the Star Wars series, The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And in fact, that exact same format, besides a little bit of a stylization change, is literally transcribed directly over the Star Wars Rebels.
In Star Wars Resistance.
Right. And obviously, they've actually gotten worse with every iteration, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But,
Resistance is the worst one out of the three.
yeah, not just writing wise, but also look wise.
Yeah, I didn't even
infinitely
bother
more
with it.
cartoony with every iteration. I
They
don't
tried
understand
to
why.
add like an anime cell animation to it and combined it with CGI.
Yeah,
It was
whatever.
weird.
My point being is that you would take a character, like you would mock up Anakin, right? It's
Right.
now a 3D model, and now you can pose, frame, move, sketch, and do whatever you want with that model and animate it in an infinite number of ways. With the only thing you need to change is just topical stuff.
Right.
Like today he's wearing armor, or he has a Taurus on his
And you have his
uniform.
armor saved for
The next time he ever wears that armor. Yeah, it's super easy and efficient. And because it's so super easy and efficient, rather than putting in the free work that you basically freed yourself up for by doing this
Right.
into, background and storyboarding, and they just say like, no, we got it. It's done. Proceed, throw it out there, and it becomes hot trash.
Yeah.
Literally berserk.
that thing looked like garbage.
Yeah, it's because it's just not only is it horrible in that it's a very simple animation for all of the characters, but then they proceed to pose, use, and move those figures in the most just horrible ways possible. I don't remember anybody who ever watched Berserk 2016, 2017. Okay.
I tried.
Has any, do you remember Guts walking?
No, that scene's been
Looks
used
weird.
a lot by what's it called? By YouTubers and everything as a bad example. It's literally Guts like,
Yeah, he's stilted. He's stuttering along the screen. And I'm just like,
Why?
you have a model. The only thing you have to do, it's almost like stop animation, really. You just have to move that model's legs frame by frame until he walks off the screen.
but instead they just did this.
Yeah, it's a stuttering animation of the model. And I'm just like, if you had any actual effort at all put into this, we wouldn't have this issue.
Right.
But no one ever wants to put
It's
any
like the
type of
weird
issue.
CGI animation they put in Dragon Ball Super.
No,
to
but see,
produce the show real quick.
wait,
You
hold
mean
on.
at the very beginning?
Yeah.
At the very beginning, before Toriyama got really irritated and made them
Oh,
stop.
I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
But a lot of it was just CG.
Sorry, what I was thinking of was Broly.
No.
Broly was an animation spectacular.
Yeah.
Right, but the TV show, they had instances with the CGI where they were trying to hurry up and finish up the episode, and they would just add in CG, It would look really bad.
Yeah, where figures were out of frame, incorrectly positioned, incorrectly proportioned,
Funny faces.
funny faces because they got caught mid-frame.
Yeah.
Limbs were just
Not there.
not there in the wrong position, disproportionate to the body.
But because Dragon Ball Super is so fast, it's a lot of fast movement. People didn't notice it.
Well,
unless-
no, because
people did notice it, but not everyone did.
But it's the same thing that happens with One Punch Man. One Punch Man is guilty of the same thing.
Yeah.
One Punch Man season 2, the reason that they tried to hide their poor animation quality is by using motion blur.
Yeah.
Yeah, like okay, so
Almost all games do that now too.
to go on that, another anime from JC Staff that isn't bad, and only because it doesn't have the quality that we were looking for from One Punch Man season 2 is Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma. There's a crap ton of panning shots, and motion blur that's used in that for different effects of stuff, and
They have
that
to
it
use
looks
blurs for other
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah. No, look, it's always been there because motion blur does have a very valuable effect, right? It saves on frames.
yeah.
I turn
Okay.
motion blur off in all my games.
Well,
'Cause
yes.
It gives me a headache.
But follow me here, right? When you have to, let's say, you guys remember any of the old fashioned 3D animations from America? Like, what was the Transylvania one? The one with Dracula and the other horror monsters in it? Things like,
Transylvania.
was it just called Transylvania?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, the
Oh,
name-
you're talking about the one with
okay.
Adam Sandler?
yeah,
the comedy?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, so there's a scene
The
where
first one.
I think no, I'm saying there's a scene where I think a character's on a magic broomstick or something like that, where the broom takes him up into the air and then shoots off into the sky, right? Most of that is the modeling of the character, the modeling of the broom, and it's only actually 3 frames. It's the character before he takes off, the character while he's in the air while the broom's flipping him around, and then the broom taking off. It's only 3 frames. And every frame that's in between that makes up the continuity of the scene is motion blur.
Yeah.
To allow it to just flow in that way. And it saves a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's very valuable because it is not detracting from what you're actually seeing.
Right.
Right.
We still understand the scene.
Right.
Okay, but when you take that to the lazy extreme that some of these people do,
Like Berserk.
Berserk or One Punch Man season 2, it's not used to be efficient. It's used to take the place of actual animation,
Right.
and it's garbage.
Right.
It's stilted.
It's laziness
ugly.
because CGI can be beautiful. Like
Yeah.
there's people I follow on Instagram that does CGI animation. Beautiful work.
Right.
Like, but they're people that aren't look
Even-
they might be working in the industry, but it's their own work that they're doing on the side.
Like, even if you're using like free software, even
Yeah.
if you're using some of the most simplistic forms of it, like Poser, which
Yeah.
is what was used to animate RWBY,
Mhm.
is using the Poser motion
I
animation
can't
system.
stand Ruby's artwork.
It's
I-
it's
I
not
th-
amazing, but the fundamental.
Well, the first season I couldn't get past.
It gets better.
I know it
get
does,
better.
but the first season I couldn't get
Well,
past.
it's because they're getting used to using the system.
Yeah.
Well, another perfect example of it that's not Poser per se, but it's very close to it is the Dragon Prince on Netflix,
yeah.
which is
I like it.
made from the producers of Avatar,
Yeah.
right? That's what happens when you put effort.
Yeah, it looks great.
Right? When you ask, because God, I understand you want to cut corners. I understand you want to be cheap. You want to be efficient because the market is flooded to all ends with all types of crap, and you can't afford to pay people because there's so much surplus and there's no demand. I feel you 100%.
Yep.
But there are some things you just can't do if you want to have a quality product.
What do you
And
think,
You
Mr.
can't
Artist?
cut these corners.
About
CGI animation and cutting corners.
I mean, yeah, I've had the model and I know how it is. Like it's easy to take that build and not put that detail into it and not bake those UVs or the textures. It's easy to cheap out, but that process, like if you take your time and you do what you need to do, it looks almost rivaling hand drawn animation.
Yeah, if they do it right.
All the while being easier.
If they just
Yeah.
put in a little bit extra effort.
Right. And so
I mean, it might not, and it's not always the artist's fault because it makes it seems like we're trying to say it's all the artist's fault. It's not. It's the people in charge of them who are rushing them and telling them that you have to do it this way because we got to hurry up and get this done at a certain point in
My
time.
understanding, like like while I was going to school. The project is a pipeline.
Yeah.
You got this one guy, he does one part. You got somebody else, they do another part, and it goes down the line. So if somebody messes up and you got a deadline in 2 days, you can't necessarily go back because A and B messed up, and now C and D have to like try to fix it, and then
And finish their work.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if it's trash, it's usually somebody that messed up in the pipeline and they couldn't go back before the deadline.
Yeah. Because they all have deadlines. It's very
Which is a reality of the working world.
yeah, I know. I just wanted to reiterate that to make sure that people understood we weren't trying to like say all these artists are lazy. It's not them. It's the way that the companies are making them work.
Right. Overworking them,
Yeah.
underproducing the product itself, and you could tell. Like, for instance, let's look at Ruby. Do you people remember the Ruby trailers before the show ever aired? When
Yeah.
they did red, white, black, yellow, and you got to see this awesome fighting with the music and the animation, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Smooth.
And it was only a few minutes, right? Like Yang fighting in the dust factory, I think it was, or the store. You had Ruby on the ice lake fighting the grim werewolves or wherever they were. I think that was
No, I'm thinking of episode 1. You're good. You're probably right.
But that was just like the previews before we know what their names were, and they were all kind of just, characters that we hadn't got a chance to fully see. It's only a few minutes of animation, but obviously Monty and the crew put a ton of work into making those few moments to advertise their product.
Right.
And then you go looking at some of the later stuff, specifically I think it's either the last season or the season before this, where the group fights this giant mech. If that mech wasn't the most lazily animated thing I've ever freaking seen, I mean, like, not only was it missing parts, as in like the model for the mech itself was unfinished, in my opinion, but the movement of the mech made no sense whatsoever. It was just horrible. I'm talking about just effects being posed in, like the aftermath of attacks just suddenly appearing on screen rather than being a natural flow of events. You can tell that these people just have given up on putting in the fundamental effort it needs to transition the scene as an action set piece. That's one of the big reasons why I left off of Ruby, barring, of course, the death of the actual creator. It's just like you could tell that these people are no longer putting in anywhere near the action or effort necessary to make their action flow.
Right.
And that's a crime because you highly rely on it.
That is the issue with CGI animation. Whereas hand drawn, you can't be lazy. CGI allows the opportunity of laziness.
Well, even with hand drawing,
yes,
you can
but
be lazy.
but you can be, but it's not on the same scale.
Right, because the way that hand drawing and comics and hand drawn and manga basically become lazy is that they reuse frames.
Right.
I mean, how many times have you seen it?
It's the Hanna-Barbera effect.
Yeah.
They're the one that created that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, how many times have you seen it when you're reading a comic and the comic is this person standing still, text bubble, this person standing still, text bubble, this person in the exact same position, standing still, text bubble, saying something different. It's just reusing the same 3 frames. We rarely even notice it.
It's all about deadline.
Right, but
unless you're a big name like Jeff Johns, who got like 2 years to finish the Doomsday Clock. You know, most people don't get that kind of deadline.
Yeah. But I mean, that was a really big event.
Right. But still, most of the time, most other artists do not get that much time.
And you see it. And if you're aware of the game and you know how these things happen and what really occurs, you understand that it's just
the corporate side
yeah,
affecting things
and how they're filling out what they need to fill out to make a deadline.
Yeah. So they can keep their job.
And it's not egregious. It's not egregious. Like,
no.
It's lazy, but it's not egregious. I can live with it.
Hey, Cussler. I don't think I can see you on the screen.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. I leaned back too much. My bad.
Start fading off there.
Sorry.
But that's the whole summary of it. It's just that, like, if they want us to be consumers of their products, everything needs a bare minimum quality, including 3D CGI animation.
There's companies that are trying to show that you can have beautiful CGI animation. So hopefully Netflix working with companies like that will make a difference over there.
Yeah, right. If Netflix is going to keep striking, and we talked about this earlier on the podcast, animation as a strong point for Netflix.
It's their future.
Yeah, I strongly back them for that.
Yeah. That and they're just the Asian foreign culture, them banking on a lot of other foreign cultures as their
Well, yeah,
future.
because they're also doing France too.
France, they've
Canada.
they've actually started doing some Spanish shows
Yeah.
too. You know, they really banking in on the foreign side of their company, which is great. I think this is a good stopping point for the CGI stuff. We'll get back with you here in just a minute. Thank you for letting us get to the root of our geek culture with you. Thanks, guys.